Hi everybody, Yuku Class Dummer here, and today I'm just gonna talk. That's it. I guess you could call this a podcast. I don't know if it's really one, but something close to one. Just a couple disclaimers before I start. I repeat a lot of stuff. I say, and like a lot. And you might hear background noise like humming or my radiator like bumping and hissing. It's that time of year and it's really cold out. But I have noise gate, so that'll help reduce the sound. So to start off, I'm just gonna answer some questions. So here we go. Who are my inspirations? Well, I've always wanted to tell stories, fictional stories. And, creepypasta, I found out about it, through, Mr. Creepypasta. And then I explored more, and I found these three people, which I'm going to talk about. There's this one guy from the UK, I think his name is, Nature's Temper. I talk with the guy sometimes. He's alright. He's alright and everything. He's good. But for real, I'm kidding. He's a great guy. Nature's Temper. He's definitely a big factor in why I do what I do. Also, Creeperoni. I'm a regular listener. She does great stuff. I love her narration of the entire High Rock Tobit saga by Kay Banning Kellum. And Dr. Creepin. Let me tell you, that guy's voice is like molasses. Mwah! Godly. They're just, all of their voices are just so good to listen to. And, they're just people who really like what they do, and that really shows. So for the SCP stuff, I can narrow it down to two people. SCP Readings, who introduced me to it in the first place, saw their first video, and I was sucked into the whole SCP universe, and yeah, I'm never going out. And they've voice acted in Confinement as Connor's lady friend, and Eastside Steve is a really cool guy, and he's just really cool to listen to. He's like Southern Darth Vader. That's the way I put it. He's really fun to listen to. He's got this commanding tone, and he's just got a whole bunch of SCP content on his channel. He's just a really cool guy. They're both exceptionally cool, and they've really brought me into a universe that I love. And next, let's go to the document, because I have something saved here. It's just a list of stuff that I should talk about. I get derailed easily, and I don't want to get derailed. So let me just click on something here. Alright, lore channels. I love lore of, any kind. Folklore, I love, but there's... I'll talk about that in a little bit. Lore channels. The Exploring series. He's done so much stuff, and he's currently going through the SCP Foundation. He does amazing stuff. It's high quality. Men of the West. I'm a big fan of Tolkien's Legendarium, Lord of the Rings, The Silmarillion, The Hobbit. Oh, my radiator's acting up. And he's just really cool. And next we have, Eckhart's Ladder. What can I say about Eckhart's Ladder? He's just I love his voice. I love the structure of his videos. He talks about really interesting stuff in both Star Wars and Halo. I love Star Wars, especially Legends. Mostly Legends. And I'm slowly inching my way into Halo. I need a little more time for that. Oh, my radiator's hissing up a storm. Plus there's something blowing outside. Better not be the wind. I'm gonna have some authentic gamer juice. Now, this isn't Mountain Dew or Monster. This is the famous clear Gatorade. Oh boy, that's some good shit. Anyway, enough of my annoying outbursts. Let's see who else I have. Of course, Witcher George. I already know a lot about The Witcher through reading the books and playing the games. But, you know, he has a lot of quality content on The Witcher. And so does Proper Bird. I think that, yeah, Proper Bird. She does great stuff on that. Both of them are great. And yeah, lore channels. I want to do more lore. I already do that through Mystical Menagerie, and I want to talk about games and other universes lore. Next, we have ASMR. ASMR. ASMR has always managed to calm me down. I have really bad anxiety and even worse panic attacks, and listening to ASMR really helps alleviate a lot of my stress and a lot of my anxiety. And two channels that I listen to the most are Seafoam Kitten. I was introduced to ASMR through Seafoam Kitten. You know, some of my friends on Discord were just shitposting around, and they sent a link to the Uwu murder cutesy surgeon abducts you ASMR. And it was really funny, but strangely soothing at the same time. So I wanted to dive more into that. And turns out I get tingles. And also on the list is Whispering Pizza ASMR. I'm in her Discord server and she's a really nice person. And lo and behold, another quality content creator. And so yeah, these are all people I want to be more like. They're great at what they do, and they've really, really helped me out. And I am so fortunate that I've gotten to talk to some of them. Especially Nature's Temper and Eastside Steve and Whispering Pizza. A lot more. But I hope to meet more of them. But they're all great content creators. You should subscribe to their YouTube channels. I'll leave them all linked in the description below. Now let's go on to the other questions. Okay, let's click onto here. What are my top 5 favorite songs? I'd have to say this is a tough question, because somebody asked me on Twitter, okay, what is your favorite song? If not, then what are 5 of your favorite songs? And I wrote them down, so I'm just... You guys are gonna call me emo, but whatever. So be it. Number 1 is Blood on My Name by the Brothers Bright. It's more dark country. It's really dark and gritty, and I love the sound of it. I usually like songs more for the sound rather than the lyrics, but the lyrics are really good too. Let's go to number 2. Insert poop joke here. Man with a Plan by Korpiklani. And Korpiklani is a Finnish folk metal band, and they're really cool. Once I reach the legal age to drink, I'm gonna party with them in Finland and
Drink vodka with them and ride on reindeer.
Something like that. Yeah, it's just a really fun, upbeat song, and I'd love to dance to it if I wasn't so shit at dancing. Next is Anthem of the Lonely by Nine Lashes. And Nine Lashes is a great group. They're Christian rock, but I'm not necessarily that religious. But it's a really solemn song, and it's... at the same time, it rocks. I love the sound. It's just really cool to sing along to. Break by 3 Days Grace. Yeah, this is the part where I know you guys are gonna call me emo, but yeah, Break is a great song. It's really energetic. I love it. And let's go to the next song. No One Will Save You by the Aviators. It's by the Aviators, a great group, and it's a Bloodborne inspired song. A lot of it's slow, but still a good listen. That's not to say that slow songs are bad. I love slow songs, but it's just... there's a lot of energetic songs on the list. Plus, I love his lyrics if you give it a listen. And if you know a thing or two about Bloodborne, then you'll like it. What are difficulties you face while making videos? A lot of background noise. I live in a big city. There's a lot of trains that go by and blow their whistles. My laptop makes a lot of humming noise, and my radiator, as of late, has been acting up. You okay over there? It's not making any noise. It's dead for now. Cars go by, and it just irritates me whenever there's a lot of background noise. I don't know, I guess it irritates people too. If my normal voice wasn't irritating enough. Speaking of which, it's also another big component is self-criticism. I self-criticize every single day, and a lot when I make videos, like, oh, this isn't gonna be good enough, it's gonna be absolute shit. But I'm actually surprised when there's actually people who like my stuff. And that really keeps me going, as well as all the friends I've made doing this. Self-criticism remains, a big part of everything I do. And I have a lot of negative opinions about, how I say things or my voice, but I'm growing out of that, and I've gotten much more comfortable. Okay, next question. Oh boy, this question. Should I answer it? I mean, should I really answer it? I'll just read it, okay? How big is your banana? Okay, next question. What are you currently working on? Oh, God damn, my chair is making farting noises. No, come on, make the farting noise again so they won't think I made a fart. Damn it! Anyway, what are you currently working on? I have a whole number of projects in the works. First off, somebody asked me to do some sort of introduction for their video, and I'm very, very honored to do it. And, I will record the voice lines in some time. But next, I have... that boss video I did about the bosses I really liked? This one's on... I'm not going to give it away, but it's a video along those lines. And I think you'll really enjoy it. I mean, there's videos that are very similar to that, but it's just a script right now. And I'm recording gameplay of certain stuff. The script is currently in its infancy right now. I'm still working out some stuff, and got some real life stuff taking up my time. But I think the video will be something special. just like the boss video. I have ideas planned. I want to do Mystical Menagerie, and that's still one of my favorite segments. I'm going to continue to do that. But it's Mystical Menagerie on fictional individuals. You know, I'm going to talk about a certain fictional individual, like, say, I don't know, Revolver Ocelot from Metal Gear, and I'm just going to talk about them. In my Euclid persona, of course. Speaking of which, the ASMR stuff will be back. It's just a matter of time is all. And I'm also writing lore for the channel. It's weird, because it's a character that I came up with, and writing about who he was before he meets you, basically. And I kind of want that. You know, a lot of the ASMR roleplay is interactive fiction. You know, like, you're actually there with the character. And I thought of that as, like, cool beyond words, basically. I don't really have the amount of production value or views or subscribers to make this a full-time job. So I'm a little occupied right now with stuff in the real world, but you can bet your behind. Mother said I can't curse no more. You can bet your ass that I most certainly will be coming out with as much content as soon as possible, because there's so much I want to share with you. I want to not only tell other people's stories, but tell my own to you as well. And I was gonna say something heartfelt, but I'm just too, like, tired, man. Okay, I will return tomorrow night, and I'm just gonna talk about stuff I enjoy. So, this is gonna be in the same video. So just skip a little bit ahead, and I will see you in a couple of seconds.
Biosura, Biosura, Biosura! It's you, the Grand Champion, standing here next to me.
Okay, now that my bullshittery is done with, I'd like to welcome you back, or if you've been listening, thank you very much. This has added very much to my low self-esteem, the fact that you've been listening. I've got my SCP Foundation mug right here. Good old SCP logo. I wish I could show you. I don't want to show you my face. I'm not that good looking. Though I keep being told by my friends that I'd make an excellent trap. I've got white Gatorade liquid. Sorry. That wasn't laughter, that was coughing. In an SCP Foundation mug, and I'm ready to rock. Let's talk about the rest of the stuff. Okay, so this part is just where I talk about stuff I like. It says right here, folklore, mythology. I've always been interested in monsters ever since I was little. You know that I've always loved animals. I had this book. I would document animals, and I heard tales of monsters when I was little. I grew up watching stuff with my dad, like Predator. Yeah, that really helped my development. But yeah, I would watch stuff like Predator, and the monsters in a whole lot of movies and everything fascinated me. And then monsters that people would talk about, like cryptids, Bigfoot, Chupacabra, the Nuclavy. I bet you've never heard of that one. Maybe I'll do a mystical menagerie on that. All of that stuff fascinated me ever since I was little. And I guess I've gotten even more into it now that the internet has become more available. I'm much older now. It says, oh boy, that was pretty descriptive. It says, list the types of folklore you enjoy. Alright, myself, I'll answer it. Norse. My dad, he always read this book of Norse myths to me, and I was completely enthralled, I remember. Thor dressing up as Freya, and he does that to get his hammer back, or the death of Balder. Leave a like for Balder, not for me. 1 like equals 1 prayer. Proven fact. I've just loved Norse stuff in general. It's really distinct, interesting. Also, Native American. I'm from the US. And I love hearing about mainly the Southwest tribes like the Apache or the Navajo. And I love that region of folklore. Stuff like skinwalkers. And of course I like the Canadian and Northeast US stuff. Like stuff like the Flying Heads or the Wendigo. Stories told by the Algonquin, the Ojibwe, all that kind of stuff. Next up on the list of stuff I like is Slavic. Yeah, that is in a huge part to The Witcher. Slavic folklore is just inherently interesting. I love hearing about stuff like the Leshoviks or the Drekavaks, Baba Yaga and Gosche the Deathless. They're all interesting tales. And finally, you're going to see the weeb side of me very, very soon. Japanese. You know, hearing about the pantheon is always cool. The same goes for, like, Norse and Slavic. And the yokai, the spirits, they're just very interesting to hear about, too. And, they managed to make a giant skeleton even scarier. If you've seen my, second episode of Mystical Menagerie, then you'll know about that. The Gashirogoro. I'm being very awkward right now, so I'm just gonna skip on to the next topic. Okay, next one. I'm clicking on stuff. I hope you don't mind the clicking. Talk about my love of stories, and yeah, I get engrossed in fictional universes. I love when stuff has, like, expanded universe content and all that. First off, The Witcher. I mean, I'm listing every single one of these franchises and legendariums because, you know, it's the characters, the story, it all kind of speaks to me, and it's just very fun to engross yourself into. And The Witcher, it's brutal fantasy. Like, it's fantasy, but it deals with stuff like, well, it has some really heavy subject matter, but at the same time, it's still fantasy, and of course, with a Slavic twist. And I love the characters. Geralt of Rivia is one of my favorite protagonists, not only in games, but in books. He's not this one-dimensional character. He's, as a Witcher, you know, you go through mutations that make you emotionless. But that isn't really Geralt. Yeah, he can be, I am Geralt of Rivia. I don't talk very much. I'm very, no, that wasn't Geralt. But he's just very monotone a lot of the time, but there are cracks and slips of that little facade, which I love. It's him being sarcastic and him being a smartass sometimes, and him... He genuinely cares about the people around him, like Yennefer and Ciri. And of course, like, other people like Regis, Milva, Kahir. the good old Hansa back in those days before the games. He's not some sociopathic badass. I mean, he is a badass, but you know what I mean. But don't just come to The Witcher just for Geralt. Ciri is one of the best chosen ones in fiction. She's a very compelling character. And, of course, the games are impeccable. I personally think The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt is one of the best video games of all time. Period. If not the best RPG. This is just my opinion, and I'm just gonna state a whole bunch of other things that are just my opinion. If you disagree, then just let me know. We'll agree to disagree. So yeah, if you haven't already, check The Witcher out. It's amazing. And here's another one. Here's another franchise I'm very, very attached to. I've been following alongside it ever since I was a kid. It should come to no surprise, that I love Star Wars, like, Star Wars Legends mostly. I'm not really that big on the new films, if I'm going to be frank. I don't hate anyone, or I don't look down on anyone just because they like it, but it's just me. They're not really my speed. And I don't really hate the prequels that much. But of course, let it be said that the original trilogy, they're masterpieces. I love them. I've seen them so many times. And I grew up mostly having lightsaber toys, old action figures, Star Wars action figures that my dad had when he was little. Had like Luke Skywalker in his Hoth pilot outfit, and I played. I'll talk about that later. And I don't know, Star Wars is just something very dear to me. I'm mainly into Legends. I love going into Legends lore. I mean, it's no longer canon after Disney bought it. I'm gonna be honest, I'm not really happy about that, and I've never really simmered down from that, but it is what it is. I've also read stuff like the Thrawn novels or the New Jedi Order series of like Luke, Leia, and Han's kids. And of course, the Old Republic games and novels. They're great. I'd say some of my favorite Legends-only Sith are Darth Krayt, Exar Kun, and Darth Revan. God, I keep stumbling over my words. Darth Revan. So yeah, Star Wars, it's timeless. I love it. I have nothing but good stuff to say, at least about the older stuff, and a lot of the newer Legends stuff. So, let's move on to the next topic. Okay, the Elder Scrolls, yeah. I first encountered the Elder Scrolls when I was, like, little. I played Morrowind. And that was really an experience. Getting to create my own character, kind of live in that world and go on my own adventures. And yeah, that was a real experience for me, even still. Even though I now know where the story goes. The Elder Scrolls is just something that really... I've gotten really engrossed into it. just because of the extensive lore. I love the lore of the Elder Scrolls. I'll talk more about the Elder Scrolls later. It's just, I'm a little lost in thought. Next up is the SCP Foundation. I found it, I think, yeah, I said I found it like a couple of years back. And, it also has great lore. The writing is great for SCPs. I love the clinical tone that it has. Everything's either unbelievably messed up or, like, fascinating. And I like my fiction like that. And a lot of the anomalies are just really cool. That's how I can describe the SCP Foundation, just cool as hell. I mean, not the Foundation itself. They're cool, but they do some morally questionable things. But they're not the Chaos Insurgency or the Sarkic cults. So next we have, let's go to Tolkien's Legendarium. To be honest, I grew up watching the films first, rather than reading the books. I read the books, like, more than 8 years back, and I was a preteen then, and they're magical. That's all I have to say. The books are amazing. Tolkien was a genius, and he's created so many memorable characters and locations. I've recently reread The Silmarillion, and again, it's another thing I love for the lore. Let me see. I love H.P. Lovecraft's Cthulhu mythos and everyone else who has added to it. Cosmic horror, Lovecraftian stuff. I love that. Next we have... talk about my favorite game genres. Okay, so there are game genres I really like RPGs, hack and slash, and survival horror. So for RPGs, I'd say first on the list is Pokemon. I was very little when I played Pokemon. It was Pokemon Crystal. And that was really my first venture into video games. And my head is filled with nostalgia. It's, I haven't really been following Pokemon that much right now, because I don't have, any Nintendo systems. I mean, I can probably, like, pop in Pokemon Platinum or, Pokemon... Alpha, Sapphire. And I can probably play those. But, right now I'm focused on replaying Nier Automata. But, yeah, Pokemon, the amount of thought and effort put into all of the creatures, and I feel like a kid again talking about this stuff. I'm glad I can share this with you. Sorry if I'm not doing my funny, goofy Yuku customer antics, like drinking my white juice. Slurp, slurp, baby. Fallout, the post-apocalyptic genre is fascinating in of itself to me, and Fallout pioneered that into video games. I mean, without Fallout, I doubt we'd get things like The Last of Us, or even the Metro games. If Bethesda, they've currently got their head up their rear. I'm not really happy with them, but it's good to think about them back in their glory days, and of course, my favorite Fallout games are 2 and New Vegas. I doubt, like, 4 gets a lot of crap for being Fallout 4. And 3, of course, gets crap for not being an Obsidian title, but I like 3, and 4 was okay. But New Vegas and 2 are my favorites. And I'm sorry if I'm being awkward again. Oh boy, am I tired. And it's like 1:28 a.m. right now, and I didn't get any sleep last night. I was up recording for the first part of this, but I'm going to talk about some more stuff, and then I'm going to head off to bed. I'm just going to take this at my own pace, and pace. See, I'm kind of drunk tired now. Take this at my own pace. Christ. I'll take this at my own pace, and I hope you guys like listening to my annoying voice. I'll probably put some nice Celtic background music too. You know what I'd need to make this less awkward? Someone to talk to about this stuff. I've got a couple of people in mind, but I hate to bother them. So let's finish the RPG category, and then I'll pick up maybe tomorrow. I've got more projects in the works, and I'm currently looking for a job right now, so things are moving a little slow. Darkest Dungeon. I was really stunned by Darkest Dungeon. I never really played a lot of indie games, but Darkest Dungeon is an incredible game. Its focus on mental health and trial and error is a good combo, like with adventurers gaining stress and either they become afflicted or virtued. Like they either break down from the pressure, which if you really think about it, like if you're an adventurer and you see unbelievably messed up stuff all the time, that's gonna take a huge toll on your brain and your psyche, of course. Brain, psyche. Darkest Dungeon really surprised me, and I put more than 300 hours onto it in Steam. I love it. And of course, that sexy narrator voice that the Ancestor does. Isn't he the voice of Reinhardt in Overwatch? Next we have, let's go to Dark Souls. Yeah. I like it. What about it? I mean, that's pretty much it. I'm actually falling asleep right now. So I will be back. I love Dark Souls so much. The lore is cool, it's sparse and far between, and the world's grim and the enemies are messed up and has this oppressive atmosphere, and I guess Darkest Dungeon has the same thing. Okay, bedtime. I'll be back very soon. I usually do recordings late at night because there's a lot of noise in my house, and around here in general there's usually construction workers outside or something, or my baby sister running around. So I usually do it late at night, and that sometimes messes with my sleep schedule. But rest assured, I will be back. And I will be just as annoying as I was previously. Hi everyone, I'm glad you took the time to tune in. I'm gonna head off now. This is pretty much the end of the podcast, but I think this is just the first part. So I will continue talking about what I like and stuff. This is just something I thought would be fun for both me and you. But if you want more, let me know. So I'll see you in the next one. And I have more stuff planned. Have a good one, guys.